Hello and welcome. I'm Carol Carter. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Minded. We are dedicated to creating a capable, diverse talent pipeline to get more women, people of color, underrepresented populations, every way that you can define diversity into the education, economic mobility, and leadership pipeline. We are delighted that you can join us this week. We are launching our 10 weeks of our virtual 2021 conference. The theme of the conference is Reboot Resilience, Rebound Remarkable. And every session that we have that we're featuring this year is on how we can come out of the last year with what I call COVID courage, the ability to find the best within ourselves, our strongest selves, our most resilient selves, so that we can be the leaders that we're all capable of being to take the world and our climate and everything else to the highest place. So we've had some incredible sessions this week for Earth Week, and we are thrilled today to have guests of students from around the world. It's our youth panel, and it's strategies for inclusive, just, and equitable climate leadership. So these are our future leaders from all over the world, and like all students, their voices are so important, they're so valuable, and we can't solve without students at the table. And one of the biggest themes of our conference this year is student voice. So we're thrilled that each of you are here representing so many different countries and regions of the world. And I want to start without further ado by introducing Dr. Ash Bashari. And Dr. Pachauri has a PhD in decision behavior, a master's degree in international management. He worked for McKinsey & Company before pursuing a career in the social development area. His experiences are in the fields of public health and management and range from initiatives including those of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, PATH, UNDP, IPPPF, and CDC program interventions in the United States. He's been engaged in the use of information technology for development in education and geoinformatics. He's a master trainer in behavior change, communications, and strategic leadership. And he's led over 20,000 workshops, events, and activities globally to outreach to youth, communities to promote health and sustainable development. One of the things I love the most about Ash's work is he is so very intersectional, realizing that climate is so connected to health, so connected to education, so connected to good jobs, promotion pathways. All these things are inextricably related. So we are so thrilled to have you and your incredible leaders here today. Dr. Pachauri, I would call Ash, and welcome. And we're delighted to have you here.
Thank you so very much, Carol. I just want to convey my deepest gratitude to you for everything you do and for your leadership and inspiration to all of us in some of the most critical key and core areas needed for us to be able to make progress and true progress in the field of sustainable development, and certainly in terms of climate action and health, which, like you rightly said, are inextricably linked. So I want to convey my deepest gratitude to you for everything you do and for having us here. It's such an honor. We're delighted, and I convey my thanks on behalf of the entire POP family. We have a few representatives from geographies in different parts of the world. I'm going to hand over to Summer to get us started, if I may, please. And thank you once again for the very kind introduction. I'm really looking forward to spending the next hour together and many, many, many more. Thank you very much. Over to you, Summer. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm very excited to be here as well. So I just want to say welcome to all of our attendees to this wonderful youth panel, which is Strategies for Inclusive, Just, and Equitable Climate Leadership, which is, of course, very important today here in Earth Week and always. My name is Summer Benjamin, as Ash said, and I am the POP Youth Ambassador for the Caribbean. I am also a high school student, and I'm here in St. Thomas in the US Virgin Islands. So the aim of this panel is to amplify voices, shadowcasting personal experiences about inclusive, just, and equitable climate leadership, covering different regions of the world, such as North America, Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa. So actually, I'm going to pass the virtual stage back over to Ash to tell us a little bit more about the pop movement and how the pop movement promotes inclusivity.
Thank you very much, Summer, and thank you all, Pop family, for being here, and Carol, Celeste, and the entire Global Minded family for having us and for paving the way forward. And I just want to say that you know, the pop movement, where pop stands for Protect Our Planet, is a movement where we bring together young people from different parts of the world to focus on education and understanding of climate issues and sustainable development issues founded on science and knowledge, and to take action based on that understanding. And therefore, the science and knowledge is a very critical impetus to inspiring young people to take action. And what I want to sort of underscore is that, you know, in our work every day, we call ourselves the pop family. And that is because we are a family. And I just want to say that, you know, in anything that we talk about in terms of development or progress, we have to be founded on core values that will allow us to truly make progress and be able to develop. We have to be clear of what we call development. Development at the cost of everything, including desecrating the planet and jeopardizing the future of generations to come. But not only that, we must understand we share the planet with a range of different species. At the moment, with the path that we are on, we are destroying in every 24-hour cycle 150 to 200 species of flora and fauna on a daily basis. And that has a lot to do with the situation we're living in today, which is that, you know, we have brought ourselves closer and closer to forms of life, in particular the zoonotic forms of life that normally we would not be in contact with, because they should be in their natural habitat and we should be living in harmony. But we now today are exposed 3/4 or 75% of infectious diseases are on account of zoonotic or animal to human transmitted infection, because we are destroying natural habitats of these animals. And as a consequence, we're in closer proximity to these animals. And then this infection typically transmits. And this is not the first instance. You know, we've had MERS, which is, you know, has been one of the issues. And we've had Ebola. We've had a range of different issues, which are zoonotic infections. So this has been happening over a period of time. But what I also want to say is that we must understand when we talk about climate change, that we're talking about human faces. We're talking about lives. And at the end of you know, behind all of the graphs and all the maps and the heat maps and everything are people who are living, breathing, and dying. And unless we open our hearts, open our minds, and embrace the lives that are affected every single day, we will not be able to make progress. And therefore, very key to our existence as a global family is being able to come together and come together in an inclusive manner where everyone counts and everybody's voices count. And I'm just going to throw light on one thing, which is that, you know, if you think back on moments in history when the world has changed and the course of history has changed, it's been when we've been faced with adversity, as we are right now. And we have gotten together collectively, we have come together and taken action. And so I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and see opportunity in the adversity that we face and embrace all and go forward. And we, you know, we must understand that, you know, the consequences and the impacts of climate change as we know it today will be hunger. And we know we're seeing people starving. And let me tell you that the upheaval that we're facing as a consequence of COVID right now will be mild in comparison to what we are in for if we do not address the issue of climate change and keep to below 1.5 degrees Celsius, compared to pre-industrial levels, which means we really need to curtail the activity. And we know there's enough consensus in science that climate change as we know it today is driven by human activity. And if we've been the cause of it, we can be the solution. And let's learn from that traditional wisdom, the history, the knowledge, including those of our indigenous communities, not lose it, not destroy it as we have been. Because what we're going to be left with is 20 of the richest people on earth, and everybody else will be gone if we continue on our path. And I just want to say one thing as we close, which is a quote. It may not be a verbatim quote, but what I want to say is that a great indigenous man made an indigenous statement which said, "There's enough for everyone's need on this planet, but not enough for everyone's greed." And this was said by Mahatma Gandhi. And I'm just going to say, we're going to need to change our mindset. We're going to need to open our hearts. And we're going to need to love and come together if we really want to make a change. And I just want to say we must embrace the values and principles that will truly take us forward if you want to make this progress. So I just want to say that development as we know it is not truly development. And we need to get ourselves aligned with where we really want to go for a sustainable, happy, healthy future, present and future, because we're not only talking about the future anymore. So I just want to say that's really what we embrace in our work at the POP movement. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you, Summer, for allowing me a few minutes to share and set the context. And we warmly welcome everybody to the POP movement. Thank you very much once again, Carol and the entire Global Minded family. Thank you.
That was all so well said. Thank you so much for that sentiment, Ash. Yes, we do all need to work together. We were the cause, and we absolutely can be the solution, and we will. We don't have a choice. So with that being said, speaking on values, this next thing that we're going to do is a small interactive activity. So I'm just going to place a link in the chat, and any attendees or panelists, definitely please do this activity as well. And so I'll share my screen in just 1 second, but it is a word cloud, and it's going to be asking you to write in personal values that you believe promote equity, justice, and inclusion. So just any words that come to mind that would be important correlating to that. So you'll see on the link, and I'm also going to share my screen, and then your results should start popping up. Let me do that now. Let me know if you're not, if you can't access the link, any panelists, but I think it should work. Okay, so as you can see, there are some words coming up here, and together with all your words, they'll create a word cloud of all the words that you believe are important. So here we have knowledge, compassion, and love, which most definitely are important on the path to opening up our hearts and working together as a team, because this is our planet, instead of separating ourselves, since we're all here together. Knowledge, responsibility, non-discrimination, tolerance, science, caring, friendship, gratitude, all words correlating to working together and just being one species solving this issue. Empathy, absolutely. Knowledge, love, friendship, I think I already said that, but of course, Okay, thank you guys so much for participating in this word cloud. And as more results come in, I can share my screen at the end. If people feel free to keep adding, you can submit as many words as you want, and you can continue adding to that as we go on if you think of any words, and I'll share at the end and see what we come up with. All right, so now we are just going to go right into our panel here. And I know we have some really amazing panelists from all different parts of the world here with us, some great youth leaders who some I am friends with, of course, friendship being one of our values. So I want to ask all the panelists to give a brief introduction about yourself, maybe if you are a student, where you're coming to us from, and maybe one word that you put into the word cloud. So I think we're going to start with Caroline, if that's all right. You can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Summer, for that great introduction, and Ash, thank you so much. And thank you, Carol, for allowing us to be here. I'm so grateful. That was one of my words, to be here. So my name is Caroline Sandberg, and I'm a senior at Tahoe Expedition Academy in Truckee, California. I've been involved in climate action throughout high school, and I'm planning to continue this passion as a major in environmental studies next year at Colorado College. I've participated in a variety of climate action, from climate strikes to conferences discussing our climate, but I really believe that one of the most important actions is being aware of the issue and sharing that awareness with others. And going back to one of the words that I put in was friendship. And I know that with Summer and I went the first, really my initial, I guess, look into environmentalism was with Summer when we created an environmental club at our school. And so I think friendship is a big part of that, and being friends with Ash and creating all these friendships through the pop movement. I think that that's a huge part of solving this issue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for putting that word in. I agree. It is equally as important as any of the other words up there. So I'm going to pass the virtual stage to Willy, if you would like to unmute and give a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that introduction, and equally thank you for Ash for his presentation of the pop movement. That was actually an insightful presentation. I learned a lot in his presentation. As I said, I am Tsague Dongfack Willy from Cameroon, and I act as the director of programs of the Cameroon Debate Association. I came up with a initiative of Bao Debate, with the idea of Bao Debate, which is discussing the climate. Because actually, as I look around, I realize that people, the youth as well as the old, they were a kind of mismanaging, misusing the plastic papers and all the like. They were just using it and dumping it without caring. So actually, I looked around, and equally the way they were actually mismanaging the garbage. So I actually gathered friends together, and we saw how we could make it a positive, we could shift in a positive action. That is in terms of actions related to environment. But alongside that, we actually pick out many actions, like, for example, community dialogues to bring back peace in our country, which is Cameroon. You best know we are suffering from crisis. It is today about 4 to 5 years we are in crisis. So we pick up community dialogues every day to see that actually will bring peace. And equally, we have entrepreneurship, which is to see how we can look into climate change as a valuable domain where we can actually generate income generative activities in the field of environment. So we have experts in the field, for example, Berenice Momo, who has just been selected as one of the major environmentalists in Cameroon, and is currently going for a training with the United Nations. So we are doing many things here. For example, we are planning to organize a debate and public speaking competition on climate change and the pollution, specifically the pollution of oceans, because Cameroon is equally a coastal region. We have a coastal, we have oceans, we have equally the sea. So people actually mismanage papers, and they actually dirty our sea. So actually, I'll limit myself at that level. And now, if I'm to talk about your presentation, I would say I will actually go for friendship, because friendship is the key, as the previous participant actually zoomed in with the same idea, which is friendship. I think we partnering together in a convivial milieu and actually alongside the aspect or the notions of friendship, because friendship is actually intimate in the sense that when you call someone your friends, means that you share intimate things together. And if we share the intimacy of environment together, the intimacy tips of environment together will drive towards a sustainable future. And as Dr. Ash said it is no longer about a sustainable future, but a sustainable present, because even the present has a problem. So I believe together in the aspect of friendship, we'll do better things together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And your initiatives sound really amazing. I too have experienced the mismanagement of trash here in my community in the Caribbean, and I'm sure your initiatives have been invaluable in your community. Thank you so much, Willy.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to move on to Ricardo. If you would like to give a brief introduction about yourself, please do.
Well, my name is Ricardo Delgado. I'm a student, social communication student, still journalism in Venezuela. I'm 18 years old. I've been involved in different causes aiming to solution for educational purposes. As you know, the situation of Venezuela is quite complex, there to say, and the political situation is also hard for students. So I can say that I start involved in all these social matters with education. I do believe that education is a great key for, to the biggest change of our lives. And that's something that I say so much in my heart. Believe education is not just going to high school, not just going to university. Education is really, really, really complex. Education also involves having a beautiful family that can teach you, that can help you. For that situation, for the situation of Venezuela, also I want to say thank you to all you who are helping us from international position. That's actually really helpful. I won't say that being activist in Venezuela is easy. There are a lot of dangers, but I think that you always have dangers no matter where you are. Sometimes people doesn't want you to speak up, but we have to. And youth have a really beautiful voice, and youth have important things to say that the world needs to hear. So thank you to everybody. I'm a leader in my university. I started with climate action recently since I joined the POT movement, and it's been a completely journey. So that's what I can say about myself.
Thank you so much for sharing. Education is invaluable, whether it's in high school or university or just out in the world. I think that is definitely a good place for people to start, is just to learn about the issues for sure. Okay, and so now I'm just going to move on to our last but certainly not least participant, Zoe Rivera, if you would like to give a brief introduction about yourself.
Thank you. Well, hi, my name is Zoe Rivera. I am 14 years old. I am from Mexico, and I started involving in this kind of projects and topics last year when the pandemic arrived, because of my age, at least here in my country, there are a lot of difficulties for getting involved in these movements if you are under 18 years. So there aren't really a lot of organizations that allowed me to be part, and I met Pop Movement during an SDG summit that was organized by the youth secretary here in my state, and I had the pleasure to meet Dr. Ash, and since then I'm involved in this Pop Movement, and I got a lot of skills. I get more confident about what I know and what I can achieve. I'm very grateful for that, and my main focus is in politics and sustainable development goals. Currently, I am working with the United Nations. I've developed several projects, and I'm very glad for being here. I think that the perspectives from different parts of the world also help here to be more inclusive and to have a richer participation. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. It's great to hear from all of our panelists from all over the world. I think that's what's one great thing that came out of this pandemic, is that we're able to come together. Don't know why we didn't do this before, but I'm so glad we have the platform now. If Drishya, you want to do an introduction? I know you're not a panelist, but you're of course important to this call and important to the POP team. So if you want to introduce yourself a little bit.
Thank you, Summer. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all together. And I'm Drishya Pathak. I'm a pop youth mentor. I'm basically a public health expert, but I've been always associated with um, environmental issues because I feel that health and environment are, they cannot be left separate. They are so much together. And to me, being part of this panel as a moderator, or uh, as somebody who can actually see and listen to these young people who are telling you about and sharing their experiences, uh, as they all are working in a different way, but actually working for a common goal, which is justice, and which is to just be together. So I think this is going to be a very special session today, and I'm looking forward to see you all participating. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Drishya. I couldn't continue this panel without having you introduce yourself as well. With that, I'm going to go ahead and ask some questions to our panelists. And so we're going to circle back to Caroline. This question is for you. And so I know you have participated in and planned various climate strikes. So in your experience, how have school strikes promoted climate justice in your community?
Yeah, so I've seen, particularly from the climate strikes derived from Greta Thunberg, and now they're just everywhere in the world. I've seen just a bigger awareness brought to the climate issue to students all over the world, including in my community. So now I see students in my school becoming more passionate about the issue, and they've even found ways to learn more about it and incorporate research surrounding climate change in their school projects. And then they're also motivated to find ways to contribute outside of school, not just in school, but outside of school in climate strikes and in other ways. So, for example, one main example that I've noticed this past year is that I've worked with a group of teenagers outside of school, they're really from all over different schools in the Tahoe environment, and we've created a group called Teens for Tahoe. And the idea of Teens for Tahoe was stemmed off of our growing awareness of the climate issue and of global warming, but then also what it's doing to our local community. And the Teens for Tahoe is an environmental group that primarily works on helping our local Tahoe environment. And we work with conservation groups in our community to bring awareness and bring change in our local community, rather on the global scale. And so, for example, some of the things that we're doing this summer is we're participating in trail building, we're going to do a scuba diving lake cleanup, and then we're going to work at a summer camp. And then this is just one of the many ways I've seen teenagers and youth and just other community members come and find other ways to bring their awareness of climate change and bring action to it. And one thing that I think we should improve on is that I think that we can work on getting action on the government level. So we need more students involved in lobbying Congress and our government leaders. I've also participated in climate lobbying, and I've noticed that there's a lot of adults and older individuals involved in this lobbying Congress. But what we really need is the voice of the youth. Our government leaders will really listen to youth voices, as I've seen from experience when I talk to them. And we just really need youth to get more involved, because right now youth are participating in actions that don't have to do with the government, but we really need them to get involved in that government action. So Yeah, those are just a couple of the ways that I've seen the climate strikes stem into all of these other sorts of actions and what type of action we need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And it's great to see you're a perfect example of getting involved on a local level, and that branching out and giving so many opportunities, and people can just start in their own communities, and they should, as that is where they'll probably care about the most. So thank you for all that, Caroline, and most definitely our leaders should be listening to the youth. I mean, we are the future, and we should be given a platform to speak on our opinions, of course, for sure. So our next question is for Willy, and this question is an important question for how our world is headed more into technological advances. So what strategies can be implemented so that language and culture are not a barrier to inclusion in the global youth movement?
Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, we are talking about language and culture, and we want to actually know how we can actually address these two issues so much they don't be a barrier, if I'm not mistaken. So that's it. Now, what is the question? So much I will show understand. We have to do here with culture, and obviously, when we say culture, we say language. If you go back into history, you realize that back in the days, colonization passed through language. And for people to actually invade an environment or a country, they actually pass through, they use the technique of their language, first of all, imposing their language to the community, and afterward, the culture. And it was a kind of being easy. Now, in our world today, how can we actually tackle the issue of language so much that it don't be a problem to our youth that are seeking to come together, as I talk about friendship, seeking to come together and build a unity and plan a sustainable development together. One thing I would say, the problem of language today, according to me, is not really a major problem, because you will see that in the world, no matter the type of activity, no matter the area where they are conducting an activity, there is a language that is common, and that language is English. The English language is used nearly everywhere in the world. When you go to China, you go to Germany, you go to Spain, you go to Africa, all the parts of Africa, you will see that the language that is used is English. So obviously, you see, language is not actually a barrier, because even my Francophone friend, as I speak, Cameroon is a bilingual country. We have two languages here in Cameroon, French and English. And be it the Francophones, they speak English, or the Anglophones, they equally speak the English language. And when we go outside Cameroon, we realize that we don't face challenges, because speakers outside, citizens of other countries, they equally know the English language. I remember one time I went to Qatar, in Qatar. When I got there, I passed through Turkey, and it was easy for me to communicate at the Istanbul airport. I was communicating with others from Nigeria, from Germany, from China, from all the lights. We were communicating together. The communication was fluent, so there was no language barrier. As I left equally Turkey, I entered Qatar, which is an Arab country. Actually, I discussed with those people from all the lights, where the meeting or the conference was grouping about I think it was 80 countries, 80 leaders from other countries, and we were discussing together, we're exchanging in a common language, which is English. So I believe we should actually just we should actually advocate for the English language and make sure the English language be widespread, so much that everyone should understand it, and actually everything should be done within that language. See, given it's a common channel, or a common code, I should put it this way, it's a common code for people to communicate. Now let's come back to culture. Language is easy now. Is culture actually a common thing to actually address when people are coming together? Is culture not a challenge? Obviously, culture is a challenge. I'll give just an experience I had in Qatar. When I got Qatar, I'm Christian, and I had to do with Muslim. So a Muslim was praying and I passed before him. The guy actually took it wrong, and he actually met his other Muslim friends, and they were kind of thinking that I'm a wrong guy, I'm not polite and all the like. It's just because I did not know that when Muslims are praying, you don't pass before them, in front of them. So when actually I met my friend that was a Muslim, he explained to me that what I did to his colleague was not good. I said, what did I do? And the man explained to me that actually I passed in front of him when he was praying. It's a sign of lack of respect to the whole family, to the whole community. So I said, oh, I'm really sorry. I had to go back to him. I pleaded with him. I said, well, I'm sorry. I did not know. If I knew, I would not pass before you. So you see, culture is really, at times, it can be at times a barrier for people to actually cooperate together and come out with suitable solution. What I can say, we organize conference at the international level. We should actually have time to actually bring the leaders together, exchange on where they are coming from and some peculiarities about their culture, so much that when they come together, they don't meet grudges like the one I met with my Muslim friends. Today we are brothers. We communicate together despite the fact that I'm a Christian, they are Muslim. We communicate together. We are brothers. We discuss, and the communication is so fluent among between us. So I think the only thing is to actually emphasize communication, and have a common code, which is English language, and equally allow the participants or people that are coming together to make change, to communicate as much as possible, because communication is the key. Communication will challenge culture. Communication will challenge culture. And now, in a world where everyone is struggling to make her culture to be heard, we have to actually give room equally to others for their cultures to come in, because we should not have a lone culture. We should not have only one culture. We should see in each culture something that we can actually take. We should take from all the cultures and form something that is strong. And when we take from all cultures, we will form something that is unique, and it's that unicity, that singularity that will create the change where everyone will find himself as belonging to that unicity, as belonging to it. But if you take from one side, you will see that the other side will feel like being actually abandoned, and there will be a kind of reluctancy when it comes to addressing the issues of the globe. So I believe issues of culture and language is really sensitive in our today's society, especially as people are coming out with nationalism and equally Pan-Africanism and all the like, Occidentalism and all the like, Orientalism. All these theories that are coming up, you see, is really a challenge. But in order to, and equally globalization is really a challenge. So for actually to tackle that problem, the only thing we can do is that we should involve everyone into the team and see how we can pick from all the cultures and actually complement cultures that are having some hindrances, because I cannot say I'm perfect. You cannot say you're perfect, but together we can make a perfect team. I mean, so that's what we can say. Together we stand, but divided we fall. And together we'll make a sustainable future and a better today. That's what I can say as per culture and language. Thank you. I don't know if I've actually answered to your question, but anyway, if you have any question, you can see shift in and I will come back to see how I can actually play it out.
Thank you so much. I think you did answer the question very well. Yes, communicating and taking parts of everybody's culture and involving everyone in the conversation, all very important, well said things. Thank you so much, Willy. That was a great answer. So our next question is a very big, very important question, and it is for Ricardo. And that is, how can we create a global movement to achieve the goal of climate equity? In your opinion?
Well, that's a very important question, Summer. If we check the Paris Agreement, equity and justice are used almost as the same term, though they are not the same, and avoiding it means avoiding the role of responsibility that all governments play in all this, and they play a key role. But at the end of the day, this is still a problem of common action, and that's why of the reason we are here today. To create a global movement, first we must understand how to address our society, and it's not being done the right way because we are seeing our society with the wrong glasses. And I mean, when we talk about society, we tend to picture it as a totality, as a mathematical number equivalent to 7 billion people. We are forgetting the units that confront this totality, which is leading us to approach global matters such as climate crisis with a perspective of equality instead of equity. Our society isn't just numbers out of numbers. To understand society, we can picture it as billion elements in a gear system where each element is different, have a unique thinking, a unique perception of reality, and a unique way for proceeding. For example, Summer, you and your neighbor are not equal, neither mine. And here's when the dilemma of equality starts. Each one of us is different because our needs and circumstances are different. So that's the way to approach to any one of us. And I will make a pause to quote Mandela when he said that our difference are our strength as a species and as a world community. So I think the more diverse, the more stronger we are. After we fully understand that, we can create not just global movements, but many movements in our globe with the best pure intention. You ask how, and I will have to go for the educational side. We just have to form critical thinkers with global perspectives, able to understand that there are moments like these times when we need joint actions more than ever. In other words, we just have to form educated human beings. And it's not a 2 days process. It actually takes a lot of time and effort to identify what parts of our care society we're failing in and what parts are we succeeding in. But just being today in this session, I think it's a start. I don't want to extend too much. It's a really extensive topic, and there are several subjects that I'm ignoring, such as the role that investigation, communication, sociology, and psychology play in all this. Just want to make clear that equity requires many actions in order to be achieved. These actions cover all the study and work fields, so there's plenty of things to do. And these actions don't have to be extreme in a negative way. You don't need extreme actions to achieve extreme changes. But a change of perspective is a must for all of us. Only so, I think climate equity will be right on the next door. I hope that's an appropriate answer. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And I really liked what you said about each person being their own unique element in the system. Yes, I agree. Everybody has their own perspectives and own experiences that they can share on, that can speak on. And from there, when we put all those together, I agree, we can create an equal climate movement to move forward. Thank you so much. I think that was a very well said answer. And for our final question, this is for you, Zoe. Thank you for waiting. It is, how can vulnerable populations, Indigenous people, and minorities have more participation at the local, national, and global level?
Okay, thank you. So I believe that this is a very important question because it's something that I had experienced before. So I think that sometimes they are encouraged to participate, but the rights are not recognized. I think that sometimes, for example, indigenous people are threatened. The rights are threatened. They aren't allowed to participate in this kind of panels in national or local governments, and sometimes there exists that kind of discrimination against them. So, for example, in governments, it's very strange to see an LGBTQ people or an indigenous people in power. It's seen mainly in countries from Europe in where that kind of ideas are very liberal, but it's not so common to see it here in countries like Latin American. So I think that we should start by recognizing the rights, because if not, we won't be able to help them to participate, because we can encourage them, yeah, of course, but how do we intend to them to participate if they don't feel comfortable, if they feel that they can be assassinated by that, or that they can be excluded, or that they can be, well, for example, arrested? So for example, being LGBTQ, it's illegal in 73 countries. So how do we expect those people to participate, to raise their voices if they are illegal up to a point? So we should start by recognizing everyone's rights, and then we can go forward.
Thank you so much. It's really amazing to hear about your own experiences as a minority, of course. And I agree, we need to create the spaces for people to feel safe enough to share their thoughts and their experiences. And just going back to what Ricardo says, everybody has their own experiences and we need to come together. And so we need to create the space and help those people and not just encourage them, but actually do something so that they can be involved. I completely agree. Thank you so much for being here and saying that. So that was my final question. Thank you so much to all the panelists for being here. I'm just going to pass it over to Ash to say some final words. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so very much. You know, I'm still kind of soaking in all of the beautiful words and messages that everybody shared here. But more than anything else, what I want to say is it's much more than words. I mean, I know each one of you individually, and I want to say that, you know, it was everything that you said is a true representation of who you are and what you stand for. And I think that's what makes it really powerful. And all I want to say is that, you know, being true to oneself is such an important step in that direction. And, you know, place for you to amplify your voices. And I know these questions about rights have come up, but I think it's really important that, you know, this world is one where we talk about giving people rights. I don't understand how we need to give people rights. People have rights, and I think, you know, it's really, really important. I know we come from all kinds of different places, but each one of us is unique, is individual, is different, and yet there's so much that brings us together. And I think most importantly is the love, the commitment, the passion, the oneness. And I think that that's what we should keep our hearts, our minds, our souls focused on. And I don't know, Summer, if there are any questions, and I'd love for you to sort of check if there are, and, you know, people are welcome to ask. I don't think there's very much more I can add to this, other than the fact that I think the diversity is beautiful. And I really appreciate the Mentimeter, Summer, that you conducted, because I think it got us all thinking about what are those words, but more importantly, the sentiments, the belief, the, you know, all that we truly feel about that coming together, and all that has brought us here together right now. And it takes me to so many of those words of love and compassion and oneness, and, like you said, friendship, giving, sharing, caring, all of those things. And I think that if we can bypass all the greed and all the take more and more for what I don't know, and get past all of that and recognize the beauty that we encompass when we identify the individuality, the uniqueness, the diversity, and the hearts that we have, the living, breathing, beautiful souls that we have here with us, who live on forever. And so with that, I'm just going to say, from my heart to your heart, thank you so much. And let's just keep that beautiful spirit alive, and more importantly, come together to take action, to pave the way forward for a loving, embracing, inclusive world. And I know if we do really come together, we'll go far. So thank you very much. And I'm going to hand back to Summer. Summer, thank you for steering us through one of the most beautiful conversations. And Carol, thank you for allowing us to have this conversation here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ash, for those wise words. This was an incredible conversation. I mean, I know we've all been on tons of Zooms and have a lot of experience with this virtual stage and virtual conferences, but I think this conversation was amazing, and I'm really glad to hear all these different perspectives. This was a super diverse panel, and that's exactly what we need from what everyone was saying, for sure. So thank you all for your time. I am going to share the Mentimeter again. If anyone wanted to add in any other link or any other words that you thought of during this presentation. And I believe that Drishya also wanted
me to do that. Sorry. Go ahead, Summer. I'm realizing go ahead.
I just wanted to pass the virtual stage over to Drishya. I believe she wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Summer, and thank you so much to all panelists for sharing your experiences and telling us that how each one of you are working in a way and trying to work on this issue. So what I want to share is that we don't want to end this conversation over here. We want to take it forward. We want to have your questions. And to do that, what we are planning to do is to have to answer your questions on Instagram. So if you see the chat, all the panelists have dropped their Insta handles, and we have also dropped the Pop Movement Insta handle. What we will do is that on the Pop Movement Instagram page, we will take your questions on every 10th of the month. So you can come there, drop your questions, tag the people who are part of this panel, and we will also do the same and ask your questions, and they will definitely try to answer them. This activity is important because there are questions that keep coming and we are not able to answer them sometimes, and we look for these answers. And the young people who are there, who are part of this panel, are actually advocating for it. They are in the field working on it. So in a way, if they can address this issue, they can help you with something, we would love to do that. Also, I would like to mention that we are going to give a separate platform to this kind of discussion during the Pop Festival, which is scheduled in the month of June, from June 5 to 10. And you can go ahead and sign up, register yourself for the festival if you are interested in meeting the panelists and going in more detail about this issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Drishya. And I'm just going to share my screen with the Mentimeter. I know we still have a few minutes left, so if you want to add any words, I put the link in again in the chat. So let me share my screen, and then I guess, Carol, if you had anything else you wanted to say, now would be the time, I think.
Thank you so much, Summer. It has been fabulous working with all of you and getting to know each of you. And I think that your spirit and your resilience and all of, I love the Korean term, you know, the indomitable spirit. I think that the whole world needs the indomitable spirit right now. And people who don't know how to really find that within themselves have to be around people who have that so they can find it. Everybody can have that indomitable spirit. So I just want to really acknowledge each of you for your leadership. And I think it's so great to learn from the incredible people that Ash and all the colleagues have put together to show you what generous leadership looks like. And as young people, you are going to take our world forward in so many incredible ways. So I'm just very excited to work with you all. And I think everybody in our global minded community to support you all in any way we can. I think it's pretty cool that Caroline is going to be a touch point out here in the state, and we can super seriously coordinate, including with Colorado College, because I think there's a lot that Colorado College and one of our person who's going to be our summer intern at a place like University of Denver, that we need to call these universities to really high standard of being able to really reverse, you know, hundreds of years of things that have not been place and privilege. And I think, Caroline, you are the perfect person to be down there doing that. And I think Charlie's a great person to be here doing that, but we can all work together across government sectors, higher ed, K-12, health, technology, STEM. All these fields are intertwined and we can all work together. We say, working with uncommon collaborators, you can get a lot of amazing things done, and we can move those big levers of access and equity. So thank you for your generous hearts, your amazing leadership, and just for helping us at Global Minded finish Earth Week. I can't think of a better way we could have done it. And for so many of you in Cameroon and India, where it's in the middle of the night over there, for making time to do this at this super hard time for you all. So I hope it's your last event of this big, long Earth Week, and that you can go to sleep finally. And but know that we are just so grateful to work with you all. And there's such power in all the different people that your energy and your spirit and your ability to connect with each other for really mobilizing major impact at scale. So we're excited to be a part of you all, and vice versa. So thank you for everything, and we will see you all next time. Celeste will be sending you all the link, and everybody who attended will get the link, and you all can share that widely, and we'll have it on the YouTube channel, and then we'll be definitely promoting your POP event in June, and that actually coincides a little bit with our STEM week, so there's some neat ways we can tie those things together then as well. So thanks again, everybody. Such an honor to be with you all.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
so much.
Thank
Great, you
you.
Have a
guys.
beautiful day.
Really
Thank you.
appreciated
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
And it was so
Stay
interesting
safe, everyone.
discussing with
There's
you.
Celeste. When I was raising the hand, I wasn't realizing I was in the webinar. I was trying to put a heart up there, and I'm like, wait, no, I don't want to raise my hand. And you can tell I don't have my glasses on. I was like, no, I wanted to put the heart up there, but that's not an option in this format. There's no heart ability.
We can do like this.
We'll just, you know, that my heart's up here in the middle of the thing. And you guys, this is Celeste.
Celeste, so great to see you.
Thank you so much, guys. It's wonderful.
It was really awesome. So I'm
Thank you
so
very
excited.
much.
I'm so excited, and I feel super fortified